My journey before I came to John 3:16 was some of the best and worst times of my life. It started out when I was about 14 years old. My sister passed away, and it was real heavy on me. It took a real toll on my family and I found comfort in drugs. Started out with marijuana. I'd do it on the weekends with friends. When I switched to cocaine, I thought it was a blast. You know, it gave me excitement, it gave me energy. I thought it was giving me the pleasure that I wanted to get out and go do things, but the exact opposite is what I actually did. I stayed in the house, dropped out of college, ended up going to jail for stealing a gun. Caught my first felony when I was 18. I got put on probation after that. I did a year of probation, was going to go into the Air Force. I did all what was needed. I took the ASVAB, got an 84 on the ASVAB. Got let off probation after a year and didn't go back. Didn't finish my commitment to go to the Air Force. 6 months after that, I started marijuana again, and the 6 months after that, I got caught with a quarter pound of pot and got put on probation again and drug court. Well, I switched to K2 while I was on drug court because I couldn't test for it. Not one part of this journey so far did I want to quit doing drugs. I got caught several times after they legalized K2 while I was on drug court, and I failed a drug test for it. Got sent to jail once for 7 days the first time. The second time, a couple months after that, I got sent to jail for 5 days and 21 days of rehab, which I'm not knocking any rehabs, but rehab didn't work for me. It just told me how much of an addict I was and that I'll always be an addict. And I just got that set in my mind that I'll never overcome this. I'll always be an addict, and I just count the days of me being sober as good, which were very few. I got out of rehab, did good for about 3 months, and did Suboxone. And the day I did Suboxone, the next day I had to go take a drug test, and they switched to a 12-panel drug test, which tested for buprenorphine, which is the main drug in Suboxone. Went to jail for 30 days in. I had a pending charge before I got on drug court of misdemeanor possession of marijuana. And while I was in jail at third time for 30 days, I had to go to court for that, and they sentenced me to 30 more days. So I spent 60 days in jail. And I got out, and I said, well, this is it. I'm fine. I'm going to do this straight, because if I get in trouble one more time, I'm going to prison. And that was my only thing I was looking at to quit, is not to go to prison. So I quit for 6 months, graduated drug court. Everybody thought I was doing good, but the day I got off drug court, I smoked pot. Got let off probation 30 days later. Thank God they didn't drug test me, because I would fail for pot. And then I smoked pot every day after that. Got a job on the riverboats. I quit long enough to pass a drug test for the riverboats. And I seen that as a good thing, because I would be out there for 21 days sober, but then I'd come home. And while I was home that first time off the riverboat, I got introduced to methamphetamine. I do it every once in a while, probably 3 times a week, and smoke pot the rest of the week for 3 weeks in a row, 21 days. And I go back to the riverboat, be clean for 21 days. I did that for 2 years. And I ended up quitting the riverboats. Because I didn't want to be away from my family that long, which was a complete lie. It's because I wanted to get high. I just didn't know it yet. After that, I switched to doing meth every day for almost 2 years. Started shooting meth. When I started shooting meth, when I started losing everything. And I didn't care. Didn't care I was losing everything. I stopped talking to my family. And I did not know what heartache I was putting my family through. The only thing going through my mind was I don't want them to see me like this, which I thought I was doing them a favor, but I really wasn't. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is how much they're hurting everybody else, even though they think they're not hurting anybody else but themselves. They're hurting everybody in their family. They're losing actual good friends. It was terrible. I started hanging out with big drug dealers. I met this guy in Peoria, Illinois, who was a big-time pot dealer and meth dealer. He would pay me $1,000 to drive him from Kansas City, Missouri to St. Louis, Missouri. And each time we went, we had a 30-year sentence of meth in the trunk of my car. And I thought I was doing big things then. Really thought I was doing big things. The last time I did it with him, he ended up trading some of the meth for heroin, and that's when I did heroin for the first time. I mixed it with a shot of methamphetamine, which they call speedball, and I OD'd. I woke up 2 days later in the hospital. They had me in a drug-induced coma for 2 days because they couldn't give me the right drugs to bring me out of anything because I was on both an upper and a downer. I stopped breathing. The nurse said I walked into the hospital and all they could get out of me was my name. They asked me other questions. They couldn't understand a word I was saying. The bad thing is I don't remember anything but sitting in a hotel room. I don't remember walking into the hospital. I don't remember any of that. And if that is not God's grace, getting me to the hospital myself, walking in, I don't know what it is. There was an angel watching over me that day. When I woke up, I couldn't see anything. It was all black. I was coming out of the drug-induced coma. All I knew is I couldn't breathe, which I had a vent tube down my throat to help me breathe because the heroin shut down my ability to breathe. And my hands were tied to the bed, and I was freaking out. I really didn't know what was going on. And every time I eased up, that everybody would stop pushing on me. There's people pushing on me because I was trying to get up and get that thing out of my throat. And every time I eased up, they let off me. So I eased up enough that they let off me, then I lunged forward and grabbed the trach tube and ripped it out of my throat. And they said I was lucky I didn't tear out my vocal cords. I didn't talk right for a month and a half after that. I remember seeing my Aunt Helen in front of me saying, "Marcus, are you done? Are you done?" And I said, "Yes." But I knew in my mind that I wasn't. Because as scary as an OD is, I don't remember anything about it, so it wasn't scary to me. All I knew is I was still alive. And I went home, I was clean for a week, and then went back to doing meth. And stayed gone for probably 6 months this time, shooting meth every day. I had a $100 a day habit. I don't know how I got the money to do it, but I got it. And eventually my mom and dad pressed charges on me for going into their garage. They did it because they wanted me to live, because they were seeing me dying. And I wasn't. I thought I was having a fantastic time. But staying up for 16 days in a row ain't healthy for you. There ain't nothing good about it. I weighed probably 125, 130 pounds when I went to jail. I weigh 190 today. I went home for 4 months after I got out of jail. Was pretty much on house arrest. I was clean for 4 months, and then I built up the trust to my mom and dad to let me go out and hang out with a few of my friends that they thought were good. And the one that I did go hang out with is a good guy. I just took advantage of him. When they let me go out with him, I had him take me straight to Springfield, and I got strung out for another week. And at the end of that week, I was so paranoid that people were after me in Springfield that I walked from James River Freeway to Kearney, which is almost the entire stretch of Springfield, and I pretty much gave out at a gas station. So it was in the middle of the summer. I stopped sweating. I was at a gas station. The cops come up to me, asked me if I was all right, and I couldn't really answer them. They called an ambulance, and I went to a hospital again. And I almost had a heat stroke. And that is when I realized that I had a problem. I called my mom. She came and got me. I stayed clean for another month, and I got in here. The entire time I knew I had a problem, but I still wanted to get high. I thought about it every day. Every second, every day I thought about it. My mom's friend at work, one of her sons went to this program. It's the first program that I ever heard that was a Christian-based program. They don't take state money, because if they take state money, they got to teach what the state wants them to teach, and that's not Christ. When I first got here, I was a bitter person, and I thought I was forced to be here, forced from my parents to come here, but later on I'd figure out that it was the grace of God and His will to bring me here. We work hard here. They teach you how to work again, because drug addicts, they don't want to work. All they want to do is get high, which I was a drug addict. I want to emphasize that I was a drug addict. It's taught me so much about Christ. It's taught me so much about myself. It's taught me how to be a man. It's taught me who I really am. It's helped me realize how bad drugs are, how much I was hurting my family. I played the blame game on everything. I wanted to blame my sister's death for my drug use. I wanted to blame my family for my drug use. I wanted to blame just events in my life for my drug use. But it was the decisions that I made every day is why I was a drug addict. I am not a drug addict through Christ. I am a new creation. All things that are old passed away. I am a new man. Everything has become new. My thinking has become new. The person I am has become new. My friends have become new. The relationship with my family has become new. It's just, this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life.
The drug addiction robbed Markus of his honesty, his dignity, his responsibility, his respect. It robbed him. It took all those things from him. And now he's come through John 3:16, and I see a son that has all of those qualities. Right? Markus before had no future, and now he can have anything in this world that he wants.
We have our son back.
Y'all, Mom and Dad, it was never your fault. It was decisions that I made that got me where I was. But I thank God today I made those decisions to get me here, to get me closer to God. I love y'all. And I promise you, I will never do drugs again. Through Jesus Christ.
I would tell somebody that was in the same position I was that no matter what you've done, how bad it is, if you've killed people, if you've how bad you've hurt your families, whatever you've stolen, whatever you've done in your life, Jesus Christ will forgive you for it. God will forgive you for it. The Apostle Paul, in the chapter of Acts in the Bible, he persecuted and killed Christians by the thousands. And I don't think anybody has done that. But he did. And Jesus came to him on the road to Damascus in a blinding light. It blinded him for 3 days, I believe. And it changed his mind so much about Jesus. They thought he was a blasphemer, everything. And that's why they crucified him. It changed him so much that he became one of the main authors of the Bible, of the New Testament. He started following Jesus, and he wrote in Philippians 1:12 that, "Brethren, I want you to know the things that have happened to me have actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel." So, no matter what y'all have done, Jesus Christ can change your life. It has changed mine.